When kids don't get their way, they turn to name-calling. And right now, the Democrats are acting like children. After Democrats failed to contain the border crisis, a few Republican governors decided to step in and help alleviate the problem. They shipped some migrants to a few sanctuary cities, and the libs lost it. It didn't take long for Obama to start calling Republicans racist.
But I will say that right now, the biggest fuel behind the Republican agenda is related to immigration and the fear that somehow America's character is going to be changed if people of darker shades, there are too many of them here.
Is anybody who wants a secure border a racist? Because Barry might want to look in the mirror. Remember this?
This administration, the Bush administration, has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders since George Bush took office. It has become an extraordinary problem, and the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away.
Did the news media call Obama a racist for that? Of course not. Barry's always going to get a pass for being a hypocrite because I don't remember Obama throwing open the doors to his Martha's Vineyard mansion last week when 50 illegals were looking for a place to crash. Was Michelle worried they were going to spill guac on the upholstery? Jill called them tacos. Could be messy. If there's nothing to fear from darker shaded migrants, then why did Obama's neighbors deport them from the island? Obama never said a word about the 50 illegals at his vacation spot. Liberals moved them to a military base, and that makes Republicans racist? I'm not as smart as the former president, but someone's going to have to explain that one to me. Does Martha's Vineyard have a racial quota we don't know about? Was the character of Martha's Vineyard perfect? But 50 additional darker-skinned people, that was going to change the character of the island? Maybe Obama moved to the vineyard because he didn't want to see poor people. Don't worry, Mr. President. They'll probably bring your dinner with a mask on their face so you won't have to notice them. And the same thing's happening in New York. Mayor Eric Adams is blaming Greg Abbott for the problems Joe Biden caused.
What is happening is wrong. And I said it over and over again, we need help. And the national government has a responsibility in assisting in its national problems, but also those local governments like Governor Abbott has a responsibility to coordinate what we're doing. We should not attack another state because we are angry about what's happening in the country.
Adams slapping aviators on to look like Joe, is that the thing? Here are the facts. Only 1 in 5 illegals wandering the streets in New York were sent there by Abbott. 1 in 5. So what's Eric Adams' solution to the crisis? He's going to build a tent city. New York is in the process of building a massive tent city intended to house 1,000 migrants right in the middle of a working-class neighborhood. And New Yorkers aren't too happy about it.
What do you think about the tent city being built in the park?
I'm retired. I walk around every single day. This is kind of shocking.
I'm concerned with my safety. I thought it was some type of a joke, because why would they do this? Why not house them elsewhere? They take our money and they do whatever they want with it.
What do you think about the tent city going up in the park?
You know, my feeling on this is this is a humanitarian crisis.
They didn't think about this.
My concern is, what about the over 30,000 veterans that we have living in the street that are homeless?
What do you think Eric Adams is doing here?
As little as possible.
You know what? I wish I knew. I wish that he gave us more information about that.
Why don't they put it in Gracie Mansion by his house? Why don't they put it by the mayor's house? You know what I mean?
Did you vote for this?
No, I did not vote for this.
Oh, absolutely not. I wouldn't do that.
Did you vote for this?
Absolutely not.
Did you vote for Joe Biden?
I did. It's unfortunate. I was deceived, like a lot of other people were deceived by Joe Biden.
Where did all those tax dollars go for affordable housing?
I don't know. That's the $1 million question. I wish I knew, because nothing that they're doing makes any sense to me.
So much money and help is being put out there for other people that are coming into this country, but not much is being put into the people that live in this country.
Do you think that this will kind of raise some safety concerns with this being in the park?
People that are here are Bronxites.
They know how to take care of themselves.
There's a park right over there. Kids go to play in that park. And from what I understand, it's all single. And I'm hearing it's going to be mostly male. So that worries me.
Are they men? Are they women? Are they combined? We don't know. I don't know. You know, if they're all men, you know, and people that frequent the beach, you just never know what can happen.
Do you think this ruins the park?
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't ruin the park, but it ruins the lives of people who come here.
What is your message to Joe Biden?
Joe, we gotta get control of this border issue.
There's one way to end all of this, is to tell Biden to close the borders. By right, they don't belong here. They're illegals.
Joe Biden is our president. Maybe he should look at this situation in New York City.
You deceived us. You should be ashamed of yourself, and you should do better for us.
I'd be mad too. I mean, do you want to live next to a tent city? What is this, Syria? Do you want to have to walk through a tent city to go to a Yankee game? New Yorkers paid nearly $70 billion in taxes last year. $70 billion. Every year, they raise our taxes because they say they're going to pay for government services, affordable housing. But when we need affordable housing, because Joe opened the borders, their solution is a bunch of tents in your neighborhood. Over 300,000 people left the city during COVID. There's no room for a few migrants. The Democrats pride themselves on big government. Big spenders for a big safety net, right? They're going to take care of all the needy. And after all these years and all these taxes we paid, they're putting illegals in tents and army bases. Texas is overflowing. The shelters are full. The morgues are stuffed. They can't even fit any more kids into the classrooms. And they didn't even vote for open borders. It's not a sanctuary state. So migrants come to blue states who voted for this, and liberals tell them no mas. Republicans are racist? Who's the real racist? There's more Hispanics in Texas than in New York, Massachusetts, D.C. combined. And has anybody heard from AOC? This tent city is going up in AOC's district. And her own constituents aren't happy about it. Has she said a word about it? No. But she went on and on for a week about this little incident.
You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
I want to do a little selfie.
I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress.
If it doesn't affect AOC personally, she doesn't care. And that's how all these Democrats are. Democrats clearly have no plan to stop illegal immigration. They just play the race card and sling disinformation to distract attention. CNN's little fact checker, who apparently has been in a coma since Biden was inaugurated, just woke up.
One common Republican claim is that the U.S. has a, quote, open border under Joe Biden. That is just not true. In right around half of the Biden-era cases where the authorities have encountered a migrant at the southern border, this migrant has been rapidly expelled from the country, sent away under the pandemic-era policy known as Title 42.
So I'm going to have to fact check this little fact checker, all right? CNN thinks Biden letting half the illegals they catch stay in the country is good? That's like a bouncer who lets in 100 people into the bar, and half of them are underage. Does CNN think that bar is secure from underage drinking? Does CNN even know how many gotaways there are on the border? It's like 1 million. And that's just a guess. And Biden's using a Trump-era policy to send people back, which they're actually trying to get rid of in court. Does CNN even know that? That if Biden had his way, he wouldn't have anybody sent back? The guy's such an idiot. But please, CNN, go on.
Even the people who authorities encounter but are not rapidly expelled still face court proceedings that often result in eventual deportation. Now, of course, some migrants do evade detection and sneak into the country. Some others manage to stay despite deportation orders. Nonetheless, open border is inaccurate.
Yeah. Of the 200,000 border encounters last month, only 50,000 were given a notice to appear in court. So the vast majority just got off and are just roaming around the country, free to do whatever they want. I'm pretty sure we call that an open border. So the Democrats erase the border because they think it'll win them the Latino vote. And they can't even do that right.
Why are we suddenly seeing a Republican having so much momentum? What do you all think?
We were already conservatives We were already with conservative values. It's just nobody noticed. They took us for granted. The party, the Democratic Party, left me.
We are not to be taken advantage of. We are not to be assumed that because we're Hispanic, we're naturally going to vote Democratic.
It's not that people aren't compassionate. We are. It's just we know what happens when you have an open, unchecked border. What do you think it does to the schools? What do you think it does to housing prices, our wages, not to mention the drugs and crime? I wish Democrats would just stop calling people names and actually do something to fix the problem.